Have you ever wondered what makes a truly frightening horror movie? But not any horror, the one that stays in your mind, that follows the viewer even long after the credits roll. Something so chilling and scary that makes you wonder if it can come in real life. Like you worry if it can sense you through the screen. Yes, this is one of the factors. Silence. The fear of expecting the unknown. But it isn't only that. There are many more factors. And we will discuss them today, going through the elements that form a real horror that sticks with you. Well, if you want to know, stick to the end to find out. We will dive deep into all aspects from the psychological to the main monster that makes the movie to the most important part of the movie at the end. The power of atmosphere. The world around your characters is just as important as the monsters they are running from. Dead Silence gives us a masterclass in this. Picture it, the abandoned town where the fog clings to every street and the shadows seem to swallow you whole. When you create a haunting atmosphere, it's not just about jump scares. It's about the dread that builds in every quiet moment. The kind where the hairs on your back of your neck stand up because you know something's wrong. But you can't quite see it yet. Getting closer and closer to the moment everyone waits, but fears as well. What will happen to the characters? Will they live or will they die? The broken items surrounding them, the dark corners where something might come from at any moment. The fog, the sounds, the combination is what matters. It will be a lot harder to scare someone if your characters are in the middle of a mall at Christmas Day. Everything shining bright, right? Movies like The Shining don't just show a hotel, they make the environment itself a living, breathing entity. It's the quiet ticking of a clock, the oppressive silence that traps you, that suffocates you. But it's not just what you see, it's what you hear, or what you don't. In Dead Silence, Mary Show strikes when everything falls silent. Imagine this, you're sitting in the dark, and suddenly there's nothing. No creak, no breath, just silence. It's in those moments that your heart starts racing, because silence is unnatural. You know something's coming, but you don't know when. Movies like A Quiet Place master this. Sound becomes life or death. Every little noise a threat. The genius here is how sound can both protect or destroy. And before we continue, I want to just advise you that if you want to keep seeing videos like this and many more, click that like button, click the notification bell and subscribe, or the other way around, whichever you choose. Also, one more thing I wanted to add is that both my books On the Other Side and Dark Folklore are out now, available for you. So if you enjoy an amazing story, an amazing fiction fantasy story that keeps you at the edge of your chair or wherever you're sitting while reading the book, then those books are for you. So make sure to check them out at Cleppix.com. Let's continue. And then there is the villain. Horror needs its monsters, but the scariest ones aren't always the ones you see right away. In Dead Silence, Mary Shaw is more than a ventriloquist. She is a nightmare who doesn't just kill her victims, she takes their voices. The true horror isn't in her face, it's in the loss of control, the silencings of her victims, the fact that one little sound is all it takes. Think of Michael Myers, for example. He is terrifying because he is emotionless. He doesn't stop, he doesn't speak, he just kills. The mystique part of your monster is what is frightening. What is it? Why is it doing it? How to stop it? And how to make sure it is gone for good. The less you know about your villains, the scarier they become. Fear isn't about what happens now, it's about what's coming. The creeping dread that gets under your skin, the anticipation. When will it happen and how? Will it be fast or slow and torturing? Movies like Hereditary and Dead Silence build tension. They don't rush into scares, they let the fear grow slowly until you're at the edge of your seat. And then, when it finally hits, it's like a knife through the air. But don't overslow things. Don't wait for the last 15 minutes of the film. To the entire length, you should give hints and scary encounters, enough so the viewer gets hooked, waiting for what is about to happen, but still confused on exactly what is about to happen and when. Here is where the real terror begins, the kind that follows your audience home. The true fear doesn't come just from monsters, it comes from ordinary objects, things that people see every day. In Dead Silence, a simple child's toy, a dummy, becomes a symbol of death. After the movie, you'll never look at dolls the same way. Same goes for movies like Annabelle. It's the familiar that haunts you the most. After Psycho, people were afraid to step into their own showers. After Paranormal Activity, it was the sound of a door creaking open that sent chills down your spine. To truly scare your audience, take something they know, a ceiling door, a mirror, a flickering light, and turn it into a gateway to their nightmares. Something that they see every day, and crush their perspective about it. So every time they see it, from now on, the memory of the events surrounding it in your movie will haunt them forever. One example is the power going off in the house, something falling out of nowhere. All those things have a logical explanation for people, but when they had seen a possible outcome where the worst things happen in that moment, they already have some expectation about it happening in real life. That's how your story gets remembered for a long, long time. And then there is the twist. You think you've figured it out, but horror's best weapon is its ability to flip everything upside down. In Dead Silence, the twist hits hard when you realize his father was never alive, he was a puppet all along. The greatest twists are hidden in plain sight. Your audience never sees them coming, but when they do, it all makes perfect sense. And that's when the real horror begins. Like in Smile, they make you feel like the curse can be in our everyday life, showing how people are trying everything that you yourself can think of on how to stop it. And then it still wins at the end, making them feel like they are trapped, like there is no escape from the horror. All that search, all that struggle, for nothing. At the end, the evil came out to be too powerful. In my opinion, as a veteran in this game, the lasting impression, the feeling you leave the audience with after the movie is as important as everything else, if not more. Have you watched a movie so good, but when it comes to the ending, it is like, this is bullshit? Well, I have, and it's frustrating. If you want for your ending to be good, especially for a horror movie, you have two options. Either shock the viewer by making the demon, the killer, the monster or whatever win, but in a way that makes sense. In a way to scare them even more, thinking that there isn't just a simple escape from evil. Or make it satisfying ending, where your characters kill the creature or stop it for good, getting that big payoff at the end, and they lived happily ever after. But never mix the two. So how do you terrify the audience? You immerse them in a world they can't escape. You make the familiar frightening, and you pull them deeper into the unknown, into silence, into the things they can't see, but can feel. Horror isn't just about what you show, it's about what stays with them long after the screen goes black.